Hey there guys, got more of a scientific fishing related video today. I've been kind of interested in knowing how long does it take for a hook to basically dissolve in salt water. More specific, if you gut hook a fish or a hook breaks off when you're trying to release it, how long is that hook probably going to be buried in that fish before it comes to the point where it dissolves and will break off and release itself. So basically I'm going to do two different setups. This one here is going to be for my bucket, and it's going to be more of a just stationary at home. I have a bucket of salt water I'll put in here, and I'm just going to submerge it and just let it sit. Kind of a control one, because there's not going to be any current, there's no movement, it's just going to basically just be sitting there. So we'll just see what happens there. And the second rig here will be a little bit more interactive because it's just got to wait with the hooks. I'm going to be putting this probably underneath the bridge around the Garrison Bight Marina. And what that is that there's current that's constantly going back and forth through there, plus the action of the boat wakes going through there. So there'll be a lot of water movement, which I think would be more similar to if it was inside of a fish that was swimming around constantly. There'll always be some motion to it. I basically have just a variety of basic hooks. I didn't go like some massive shark hooks because I don't use them. And I also didn't do any of the steel hooks, which are common because they just aren't going to rust or it'll take a long time. And I don't use those either. So I just use a variety of standard bait hooks. It's a little live bait hook, I think a number 1. This is a little jig head from Kmart that you would use for soft plastics. The one that I'm really interested in is this one, which is a standard 7.0 Mustad circle hook. And similar on this side. I think the only thing different one I've added was this is a hook that you would find on a one of the DOA shrimp, and which I think are a type of steel hook. So that one will probably stay around for a while. And that's basically it. But like I said, the line that I'm putting out there, I'm concerned about going back one day and it'll be missing. Some either finds it, some debris knocks it off, it gets cut off or whatever, and then all that time wasted. So at least I'll have this backup control rig that'll be just here. It won't be as accurate, but at least I'll have something. So in general, I'll do a few updates and just keep adding them to this video, and then towards the end, once I get some results, then I'll hopefully have a postable video and it'll be showing the different steps. So anyways, that's it. Thank you. Okay, here is the rusty hook situation. We're 10 days in, and this one is just my stagnant salt water that I've been just leaving in this bucket. So that is one thing that's important to know. You can see that it did starting to rust over there. Is what it gets attacked first looks like to be the barbs, because that's like the thinnest part. And I was wondering about these because these are kind of like those tin or almost like a stainless steel, but it's creating this like rust mold on them. You can see that. So like the eye, the tip, and the barb is what's really getting focused on by the rust. Just like you see here, the 7/0, the end where the eye of the hook comes together, the loose end part is getting rusted on. So all these weak spots is what it gets
attack first. So the barb and the point. And these are some just #1 mustads. They're getting hammered all over, so I don't think that one's going to survive very long. That one, no, barb's still there. So even in regards to a fish's, ooh, that barb is gone. So on the 7-aught hook, which has a very real sharp barb on it, it ate it away. So that's gone. Almost all gone. It's just a little bit of a hump, but there's definitely no real catch on it. But that's the other thing. I think what's going to happen is it's not necessarily the rust dissolves and breaks apart where it releases from the fish, but a lot of it will be is that point gets attacked first, and with the barb gone, it'll just eventually just work its way out because there's nothing really keeping it in, especially if the flesh of the fish gets opened up as it moves around, and it might find its way out. I don't think this is going to release it yet. Well, this is kind of a, ooh, yeah, it would almost actually pull out of this rope, and that's sinewy. So, but that's 10 days, so we'll leave it in there. And there's quite a bit of metal particles built in there that you can see. So we'll go out and check the one that I've got in the Marina. Okay, here is the number 7-aught circle, #1 live bait hook. That's kind of a hook that you'd get on a DOA shrimp. Let's see there. And then another #1 live bait hook that I use a lot. Let's see how that is reacting. And there we go. Wow, we see some big changes here. That's ate away quite a bit of the metal. Same here, corrosion, but still the solid metal underneath. And my 7.0, same deal, point is gone. Starting to get eaten away, but metal's still strong. There we go. Oh, tip fell off. Crusty. Alright, time to bring this up for the last time. So there we go.
So in conclusion, week to 10 days, that barb goes, that hook's coming out. All right. Maybe a month, 2 months, and then that tip erodes away where it eventually falls out. And there's just so many variables, okay? The type of hook. I mean, just looking at my Mustad, same brand, #1 live bait hook versus a 7/0 circle hook. That 7/0 circle hook gave up like in 10 days. It was like the tip was gone. All right. So, but that #1 live bait hook, it's kept it. I mean, outside the barb and the exact tip, it still held its structure. And those DOA hooks and those Kmart jig heads are still strong and rigid, although the barbs are gone. All right. So it really just kind of depends. And then the standing water versus the flowing water. I don't know what the makeup of a fish's mouth is in regards to acidic breakdown. Like if you put metal in a human's mouth, that acid in there will tear it up pretty quickly. But my comfort level on the whole deal is that I'm still going to be, when I don't feel comfortable because of a danger issue in regards to like sharks, mackerels, barracudas, toothy critters, about bringing them up to the point where I could safely remove that hook, I'm cutting them or doing the reel down, point the rod, grab the spool, give it a yank, and pop that hook and leader knot and break that off. Just safer there. For the environmental side, I think it's a lot safer that people should do that right away. Is get your battle, fight them, get them to the side of the boat, touch that leader, call it a caught fish, reel down, pop that, leave the hook, and let them swim away. All right. The reason beyond that is if you ever have to subdue a large game fish and to get it to the point where that you're able to do some minute work like removing a hook or whatnot, you are basically breaking that fish's will, but also totally exhausting it, and to the point where the lactic acid is basically locking that fish up where its muscles aren't able to move anymore. That's why you'll see the fish, they're on their backs, they're not really kicking and moving, they're just trying, but can't even let go of a human holding their face, and they can't even kick loose of that because they're just that exhausted. Then we take the hook out, ring them around a little bit, maybe truck them down for a little while, push them off, and they half-heartedly kind of do that little slow swim away to the depth out of range. And people think, oh, they survived. They swam away. But what they don't realize is that fish is slowly swimming down, until it hits the bottom, rolls on its side, and dies. All right. Because of that lactic acid, it can't continually kick its tail anymore. It just locks up and it'll die. So that's the bigger risk, I think, more than a hook in their mouth and taking 2 weeks to corrode out enough where it just falls out. And for those people that, oh, if you leave a hook, they're instantly going to die, it's not like that. You're just overreacting to it. If that was the same case, then kids with braces or women with daddy issues that get piercings and stuff in their mouth would be falling all over every bar in the country. But it's not like that. And if you say, oh, what, it's a fish. Well, they do the same thing when you get the scientists add trackers to fish, okay? They stab them with a harpoon, basically, attach a cable to it with a tracker on it and let them swim away. All right? That metal part isn't a detriment. It's no different than doing it to a human being, all right? So the long-term part of it, I don't know if a piece of metal in their mouth might give them cancer or rust poison, but I doubt that. Different environments. I also do know is that I'm very surprised at the rust factor is a lot less if you keep your stuff submerged in salt water versus, I know for a fact I buy a brand new box of hooks and put them in my tackle box, and a week later I go back and it's a puddle of rust. So different that oxygen part of it as well. But anyways, take it however you want. It satisfied me specifically for those 7/0 circle hooks that I use a lot. Those tips corrode away like that. The other hooks, not so much, but that's the one I'm concerned with because that's going to be my tarpon and shark and big fish hook. So anyways, hope you thought that was worthwhile. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next video.